Hello, Hillary.
Yes.
Hillary.
Yes.
Okay.
Wendy.
Dan, uko kwa kelele inasikika sana.
Nasikika, so acha nitafuta another place basi.
Hillary. Hillary. Hello?
How is it right now?
Better.
Better?
Yeah.
Sawa.
Hillary? Hello? Dan, can you hear me?
I can hear you
Hello.
better. Very well, very
Can
well.
anybody hear me? Can anybody
Yes,
hear
yes,
me?
I can hear you.
Mnanisikia?
Kabisa?
Awesome. So my Hillary, Minko Hillary, we haven't started live streaming on Instagram. Tuko bado kwa
Yeah.
stream yet. So whenever you guys are ready, you just tell me,
Yeah.
and then I live stream on Instagram. But I think
Ngoja
Okay,
Facebook
okay.
and YouTube are already on. Let me confirm.
Dan,
Yes.
I'm tagging you with the post, with the link with the Nini.
Okay, tag me, I share.
Okay, sawa.
Aye. Send your tag.
Hello guys.
Hi.
Yeah.
Listening to me? Okay, so basically we are already live on we already hello,
Yeah.
tuko live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube and Facebook.
Okay. We're just sharing the links. Hillary.
Yes.
Recording, yeah?
Yes, you're already 5 minutes recording. Na tuko live on yes.
Do you have anyone who's joined yet?
Let me check.
Okay. So you're able to see people have questions Well,
Okay, I haven't went live yet on Instagram.
I think uh, 4 minutes done.
We are losing you.
Me,
Yes,
you're losing me. Can you now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm saying you start.
Yeah, we can start. Yeah.
All
We can
this.
start.
Hillary.
Yes. Let me go live on Instagram. Okay, we already live on all platforms. Let me remove myself from the grid. Hello.
Okay, it's okay. Yeah, you can leave.
Okay,
I
let me leave.
me on WhatsApp.
I'm
I'm
li-
on. Hello?
yes, I'm leaving. I'm leaving the grid.
Okay,
Uh, if there's any problem, you just tell me and I'll check it out. Is that okay?
that's okay.
How about you, Kibet? Are you okay? Hello, Kibet. Daniel. Hello, Daniel. Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
We lost.
Are you okay?
Yes.
If there's any problem, you just tell me and I'll sort it out. For now,
Okay.
though, I'm leaving on the grid, and once I leave, I think my mic will be mute.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. So yes, let's have a lovely webinar. Instagram live. Yes, good luck.
All right.
Thank you.
Try going.
I try going behind the light. Yeah. How about there?
No, it's
That one is too
worse.
dark. So us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, go back, Kidogo. Please go.
There.
No, where you had gone. Okay, turn and look the way you. Not that.
This way. This way.
And then song and not turn. Turn. Turn.
That way.
Not towards the land. Not towards the. Yeah,
Better.
that's better. Yeah.
Okay.
It's exactly 8 p.m. Our live start at 8. Our Instagram on thank David for time to with us to host at that evening. Most importantly, I want to appreciate everyone who joining in. Sorry about that technical glitches, but we want to appreciate everyone who has taken time to join us this night. Daniel Kibet is one man who speaks his truth through the numbers, and he believes that numbers never lie. Daniel Kibet is a technology and data expert with extensive experience in analytics, software development, and strategic. He has led projects across, including having a party ideas challenge and yeah, no it was when near the period and how campaigns are run. That bit welcome San.
Thank you so much, Wendy.
Okay. I,
I'm good. I'm losing you though.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Karibu.
I've lost you.
Hello, Daniel. Hello? Hello.
Hi, Hillary. I'm sorry. I had a call coming in that disrupted the connectivity, but I'm back on. Is Daniel still on?
No, I can't seem to hear him, and he's not moving. That's why I think Pierre ako ametoka.
Okay, let me tell him to rejoin, yeah.
Okay. Hello.
Hillary, yeah, he should be joining. Technical hitches are there. We just want to apologize to our audience for that, but we should be up and running again. Hillary, are you there?
Yes, Wendy, I'm here.
Keep introduction of you and introduce yourself on this live.
Hello? Is anybody on? Hello? Hello? Is anybody on? Hello?
I suggest. I think we can we push it to tomorrow morning then, when everyone is settled. Wendy, what do you think?
We are back on it. It's okay. It's just difficulties, and they do happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me on your end?
Yes, I can hear you, Daniel. The problem is Wendy. Wendy, I think your
Wendy, your network is a bit tricky.
It's a bit, yeah.
No, someone was trying to connect.
You're breaking on your audio every time.
Yes.
Even now.
Hello. Hello, Wendy. We can't hear you kindly. Can you check your connectivity?
It's stable.
I still can't hear you.
Same. Can you hear us, Wendy?
Clearly, yeah, I hear you.
Us, we can't.
We can't hear you. Hello, Daniel. Can you hear me? Hello, Wendy. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me clearly?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. How about
Okay,
Daniel?
great.
Daniel, can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Okay, so
Still not yet.
hello, Wendy. Hello, Wendy. I still can't hear you. I see you. I see you moving your lips, but I can't hear you. Daniel, can you hear Wendy?
No, I can't.
I can't hear you, Wendy.
At all.
Now we can.
You're breaking up like the
It's
first
on
words
and
are
off.
breaking up. Yeah, it's on and off.
That's both other.
Pardon?
Can you
Daniel,
hear
did
it?
you get that?
Yeah.
Did you get what Wendy was saying?
No, I didn't.
Can they both hear each other?
Pardon?
Try switching
Both
from your Wi-Fi to normal
Mobile
connectivity.
all
or
right.
mobile data? Yeah, yeah, kindly.
Yeah.
Sorry for that. Hello,
Hi,
Daniel.
Hilary.
Yeah, Wendy, now I can hear you. Can you hear me clearly?
Hear you.
Yes.
Daniel, can you hear Wendy clearly?
Wendy, speak. No, I can't.
Hello, Wendy. I
Yes.
also can't hear you clearly, but I hear you, but you're breaking up.
So
But I can hear Daniel very clearly.
put setting in the background.
Okay, let me ask you: have you opened any other platform or like Instagram or Facebook or YouTube as you're streaming live? Because that might be the one that is causing the interference. When
And
you're live, don't open other platforms to check how you sound or something. It affects
yeah,
the audio. Hello, Wendy, can you
Daniel,
still hear me?
yeah,
Daniel, can you hear Wendy?
No. Just first
Yeah,
few words, then she gets nini.
yeah, me too.
Interrupt.
Hello, Wendy, can you speak to see if I can hear you clearly?
now can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Have the gods of the
Still
internet
breaking.
have a
Still breaking.
You're still breaking, Wendy.
I because
I still can't hear you, Wendy.
and can you hear Daniel?
Yes, I can hear Daniel very clearly. I hear you like a bit. You come on, then you come off, like a few words, because I can hear Daniel clearly. Daniel, can you hear Wendy
Okay,
clearly?
Not really.
let me try a different device then.
Okay.
Am I audible now? Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Okay, great. I have had to change devices, so now I'm clear.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I honestly want to apologize to you. That has been a cool about 15 minutes of struggling, but technical hitches do happen to all of us. I apologize to our audiences and I want to appreciate them for their patience. Daniel had given a brief introduction of yourself professionally. You can tell us who you are, introduce yourself to our audience this evening.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here. My name is Daniel Kibet, a technologist, a data analyst. I also run a software company called the Berison Investments Limited. I've worked in a couple of political parties, one being UDA, that is the ruling party, as a lead data analyst. Thank you.
So you are the gentleman behind the numbers that helped us or helped this running government get to the winning side, yeah?
No, there was a lot of team that was put in place. I can't say solely as the one who made the government win, but yeah, I
Okay.
played a part in it.
Oh, fantastic. We've shared
Yeah.
spaces where we've talked about the importance of data and how that informs how campaigns are done and how the general elections actually pan out, with the culmination of results of the winning team and the losing team. Maybe you can take us through how important data is and how that forms campaigns and elections and winning and loss.
Thank you. So in politics, there are two things that matter. One is data, the other one is perception. So data is numbers, and ideally, it's the biggest contributor of either you will win or not. The other things, other factors like sympathy, they come in play after you have numbers. So ideally, in data, it helps you or helps a candidate or a party to understand where to put their resources, what kind of strategy they can put in place, and how they will win, and if they're winning, uh, by what margin. So data ideally helps us understand and come up with predictive models that will guide us during the campaign. And even the kind of messaging that we'll give to our candidates is always pegged in the data that we've collected.
So when you speak, I hear data that helps you predict. So from a voter's perspective, what kind of information do you collect to now collectively call it data?
So ideally, from a voter register, the basic biodata that is collected is the first name, second name, last name, the date of birth, ID number, county, constituency, the ward, and then the polling station. But the other data that we come and correlate with the voter register, like maybe the professional data, social media data, maybe we get it or not. At times we'll get the professional, at times we cannot. From the data from the voter register, then we generate other variables like age, generate gender, tribe, and then now we start weighting those variables to give us predictive models.
Okay. But we've had stories before where when we are nearing the electioneering period, politicians and people in spaces of influence actually do collect information that helps them get to know how or get the formation of their campaigns. So before we get to the register for the to, we, before we get to the voters register, what kind of information do political leaders collect from the masses to help predict their to help predict how they will do the campaigns?
The key fundamental one in our country is always the tribe, age, gender, profession, and now the normal IBC voter register. Once we have had that data, now we come and do the modeling and generating the sentiment analysis reports, doing social media targeting. From the age, you can be able to understand what kind of messaging you can do for the young population and the older population. In terms of tribe, you can always segment it and know that for Mount Kenya region, this is the kind of messaging that will give them. For Nyanza, this is the kind of messaging that will give them. For Rift Valley, this is the kind of messaging that will give them.
All right. So there's a key thing that you've mentioned, the tribes that we have. And from
Yeah.
last year, June, when Gen Zs went to the streets and said, we are tribeless, we are leaderless, how do you think that will pan out as we are heading towards 2027? Because Gen Z is saying, I mean, tribe is not an issue for us anymore. From your perspective, how true is that? And will that change even as we head to 2027?
I really doubt. If you look at the trend from 2007 to 2022, the age between 18 to 35 has always been 39%. That is the young population. Now, the age between 18 to 24, which ideally forms the Gen Zs of those days, so even now they will be 18 to 24, is always about 10%. That is from 2007 to 2022. The trend has never changed, so I don't think even this coming election it will change really. So the issue of Gen Z will not really affect. And also, if you look at our country, we have not grown that much like growing economies like US and Europe, whereby we narrow down to ideologies. At the end of the day, it will narrow down to what tribe are you? Huyu ni mtu wetu, mbona mnapiga mtu wetu, you know. So I don't think the Gen Z factor will affect that much. It will, but to a larger extent it will not. At the end of the day, we'll narrow down to naona Mkikuyu, naona Mluya, naona Mjaluo, naona Mkamba. So I think I'll vote on that basis.
But Dan, the truth rather that is being showcased on the ground right now is the young people are saying we are more informed, we are more empowered, and what we are saying is we are going by what the leaders can do and not necessarily the tribal lines. It's true to say that in the recent past, youths did not really participate in electoral processes. But I mean, the outrage we've seen since last year to now, I guess the momentum can only be gained moving forward. Don't you believe in the cost that this will bring change in the future and clearly in the next general election? Are you trying to say that will not be the reality on the ground?
How I wish that was true, but you know, in all over the past 10, 20 years or 30 years, all young people have been having an uprising. In the 1992, the Orengos, the Jirongos, the Railas. At that time, I think they were young. I don't know if they were the age of 18 to 24, but I believe they were. So also them, they had their own uprising. But also in 1992, the age between 18 to 24, and you can look at your statistics, was also 10%. The age between 18 to 35 was also 39%. So ideally, the numbers and the age between 35 plus was 60%, even from 1992. So the notion that now the Gen Zs or the young people are woke or they're more informed, even Nakina Orengo are more informed, I believe. That's why they have become brilliant lawyers. So, and they had their own uprising. I believe during that time it was when the multi-party was taking shape. So, and it was their own, like the Nyayo detention saga and stories. So, I don't think that will affect much in the 2027 election.
All right. I mean, time will tell how true that will be if we will see a revolutionary change in the numbers of the young people going to the ballot. But moving away from that briefly, Dan, from the experience you've had with the different political parties you've worked with, what are some of the key information that is taken up that forms the data that politicians really do use during the campaign period?
In statistics, we always say all data matter. So all the variables matter. But ideally, the most important one is always, as mentioned, the age of the voter, the gender of the voter, the profession of the voter, the profession, gender, the location where they're located, and then the tribe. So if you look at age, as I've categorically said, we normally do the cadastre, the young, the old, the middle level cadastre. So it will help us in coming up with the messaging of what we'll give to our candidates in terms of how to deal with the young people. Also, it will help us to understand what strategy to employ. For example, the strategy that we'll use for people age 45 and above, for example, we cannot use social media targeting tools to target voters who are above 50 years. Because I mean, sorry to say, most of them are not tech savvy. So they require a lot of personal touch with the candidates. So we'll always advise that candidate to go and do maybe rallies or maybe do door-to-door campaign, such things. But the 18 to 24 or 18 to 35 years, who ideally form the young population, will always do a combination or a mixture of both the rallies and social media targeting and maybe live podcast and such combination. If you go at tribe, different tribes have different expectation of candidates. So ideally, and I will not mention what expectation from different tribes, but it will help us also understand what strategy and what to give the messaging that will give particular people from particular region and particular tribe. For
Yeah.
professionals, same thing. If you're addressing teachers, and if you remember back in 2022, UDA, we had a lot of town hall meetings, especially with both professionals and non-professionals. So ideally, if you're dealing with teachers, they have their own problems. So we'll always research or maybe do polls and then understand what kind of problems do they need to be addressed, and then those messaging will give to our candidates so that we can give them to the while addressing the professionals.
Yeah. As you speak, I was really thinking about the change that has been there. Early in the conversation, you've mentioned that back in the day, the likes of Jirongo and Orengo were young people who fought for the change that they wanted to see. They were part of the uprising in the youth, and they were in the front line fighting for it. But then we cannot ignore the fact that right now we've had a massive technological evolution, and I think what is making it different for Gen Zs is that now we have tools, gadgets that can amplify the voices right as they are happening. Now, do you think that will have a contributing factor as to how the data, number one, will be used or deployed on the ground? For example, do you think with technology, it will replace how relevant or effective rallies have been in the previous years that we have seen?
I doubt, because data is just a tool that advises a candidate or a party to what strategy they can use. So if that data advises that we need to employ a rally strategy, then we use that. But I agree fully. But I always say election is not an event. Election is a process. So ideally, yes, there's a lot of technology advancement that has happened in the last few years. But ideally, if the young population are not able to go and register their votes, ideally, we don't vote on social media. We vote at the polling stations. We cast votes at the ballot boxes. We don't cast votes at the live TikToks. So ideally, if they will not be able to register the votes, as the trend has always been showing us since back in the years, that 10%, 39% of the young population, then I don't think much will change. So ideally, we should bring that energy from the social media when the time comes when the voter register will be open. Then I believe maybe if the young people will register, then maybe something will change.
All right. I honestly believe that we will see a change. We will see a difference in this upcoming election. But again, we leave room for
Hello, Daniel. Can you hear Wendy?
Wendy?
Hello.
Hillary. I'm here. All right.
Okay.
Again, technicalities will be a big challenge for us, but we move on regardless. Daniel, I was saying, honestly and candidly, before we get to the voters registration, I know right now people are strategically positioning themselves for the seats they will vie for. So this information and this data, we have seen messages being sent to us in bulk, and you ask yourself, so how did this candidate get access to my information? Are they buying them? are they hacking the system? You know, during the protest, we had multinational organizations and companies that were being flagged and put on the spot because people were saying they were the ones releasing their information and data out. We've seen politicians wakisalimiwa. We've seen boys being picked, you know, by police, and then you wonder, so how did they get our data? So in your experience, the time you are positioning yourselves and putting down strategies, how are you guys accessing information from your voters?
Good question. Anyway, most of the data analysts in those political parties are registered data, either data officers or data commissioners by the Data Protection Office. So ideally, they're kind of not warranted to have that data, but it's not illegal for them. There's a very thin line between the legality of it, them having that data. But ideally, there's something that is known as a content service provider. Apart from now being a data analyst, there's a side of business known as content service provider. So a content service provider is one who does those bulk SMSs. So he registers with CK, and Safaricom, get registered, get their credentials and all that. Then will be allowed to send a bulk SMS to his or her clients. Ideally, back then, there was a lot of mishaps in that a content service provider could send a messaging at any particular point to any particular person without their consent. But those things changed after the election, especially most people complained. I think even maybe you complained. So the rules were changed in that once you register, for example, a send ID for a politician, for you to send them, the constituents, the bulk SMS, you need the first message that you need to send to that constituent is to ask them if they are willing to accept messaging from this particular send ID. And then normally you always put a termination code. Maybe when you have seen any bulk SMS, you'll see if you want to stop, dial star 430 hash. If you dial that as a user on your end, as a recipient, then it terminates on the end. So the content service provider can no longer send you messaging from a particular send ID. So a lot has changed. In terms of access of data, there's a couple of places that you can pull data. You can pull data from shops, though it's illegal, but I mean, people normally give their data willingly. Even I'm very sure today you have logged into a particular website and you have given your phone number and your email. So there's a lot that happens. There are people that do data mining. So as a content service provider, not necessarily you get that data from IBC. You can also get from such avenues.
But the truth is that allowed? Is that ethically correct? Because I believe we have a lot of conversation going on around data laws and protections, because if I walk into your premise and I give data because of security purposes to be able to access the space, I don't think you are allowed to share out that information, especially to political figures, because then they have their own interest. So the question is that legally and ethically accepted?
Ideally, most of our users or the ones who receive the bulk SMS, for example, if I want to mine data, I will put terms and conditions on the website. And ideally, I know most of you guys will not read those terms and conditions. And maybe I'll have stated that I'll use your data for third party. Do you agree to our terms and conditions? And most people normally don't read those terms and conditions. And then you will agree and then you proceed. So even if you come and sue me, I'll show the court that there's a terms and condition that Wendy accepted to it, that I'll use her data for third party purposes. So it's always advisable, take your time. Maybe if you are really cautious about your data, read the terms and conditions. If you think that you don't want your data to be used for third party purposes, don't consent to it.
Right. So I just want to make it clear to our audiences that sometimes we feel, and it seems like the term data is very ambiguous, but the reality is data is just the little information that can tell more about you. So fine, then before we get to registering as voters, there's a way this information has already been put out, just the way you're saying, the websites, the buildings you go to, the shops that you use. Right now, after COVID, M-Pesa is the new mode of payment for almost anything and everything. But Dan, once
Hello, Dan. Can you hear Wendy?
No, I lost her.
Okay, let me see what. Wendy, can you hear us?
yes, I lost you for a bit, but I was asking Dan. So when we get
Yeah.
to voters register and we've put down
Yeah.
our information,
Yes.
who ideally should own this information? Is it IBC? Is it free to all? Who literally owns the information that is put down as data in the voters registry?
It's purely IBC. It's purely IBC. The only data that the party holds is the members register. So, for example, like ODM has 5 point something million people. They have that register, so they're custodian of their members who are also registered voters. So, ideally, me as a content service provider can decide not to use the entire voter register, but only dwell on the ODM members register. So, ideally, to answer your question, the custodian of voter register is only IBC.
But is it true to say that sometimes we've had breach in ownership of this information? Because we've had cases, only that I don't think there's anyone who's taken a lawsuit to sue the body that is IBC for giving out information. In your experience, is it true to say that sometimes we've had data breach, that this information has been shared out to politicians, people with powerful spaces, and to political parties?
True and not true. Ideally, okay, as you have said, someone can sue the IBC for that purpose, but it will be hard for you to prove that when this information was given, or the reason why you got a bulk SMS from X and Y political party is because IBC gave them that data. Because ideally, if you go to Jumia, they have your number. If you go to OLX, they have your number. If you go to Bolt, they have your number. Even if I go to Google, for example, because Google, I think last year they were sued in regards to data breach. At times, I believe the reason why they were sued is because they were data mining and selling data to third-party people. So even if someone goes and sue IBC right now, it will be quite hard for you to prove that IBC gave your data to a third party. Because I'm not seeing many people even in the data space that have an updated or a current data voter register. There are very few people who have IBC. They're actually very stringent in terms of data protection. I can tell you as a fact. Yeah, so they're trying so much. Yeah.
So I mean, as qua ground we say it, during these periods there are a lot of stories and allegations that come out, and that is why we have platforms like Speak Up Africa, where we have conversations that just try to debunk and give facts, what is right, what is not. So a game changer in all this data analysis, collection, and storage. How accurate are the numbers usually? Because we have done general elections, but right after the results are out, many candidates go out and say, my numbers were stolen, I was leading till the very last minute and things were changed. So how accurate is the data that you collect as an analyst and use it to guide a particular candidate, that what, in this region you have the lead? Is there room that there will be a bit of inaccuracy in terms of predicting wins when we get to the ballot?
Yeah, I mean, while we're coming up with models, like predictive models, there's always that allowance of 5% error. So even when you come up with predictive models, even in the 2022 election, not most counties, ideally like 90% of the counties that we predicted will get a particular number of votes, we got them. or something close to what we had predicted. But there's always that 5% error that whatever we predict is not correct by 5%. But ideally, I always say, as I said earlier, election is not about vote casting or rallies or campaigns. The key, the key process in the election is always vote management. If you as a candidate or as a party, you are unable to do proper vote management or votes like tracking the process of whereby the vote has been casted, it's counted, transmitted from the polling center to the county or constituency polling center, constituency station, and then back to bombers. Then you cannot really say that you have been, the election has been stolen, or the numbers that you've gotten are not your numbers. Number two, you get a scenario whereby, yes, you were certain based on polls that you are going to win, but on the election day, you make sure most of your polling stations don't have agents. So how will they be able to collect the Form 34A, for example, if it's a presidential election? So ideally, the advice that I normally give to presidential candidates is always ensure that you manage your vote properly, so that by the time you go even to sue that election has been stolen, you have all the Form 34As with you. Because election, like for example at Supreme Court, the encounter that we had was they don't allow electronic transmission. It's always manual transmission. So even when you are giving your case, you always need to present all the forms. So if you don't have all the agents in all the polling station, ideally like 46,000 polling station, then you don't have all the forms. So your case might be thrown away. So it's always about voter management.
Daniel, let's put it into context. 2022, you were in the winning team, and
Yes.
that was our very own president, William Samoei Ruto. And the then very own Baba of the nation, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, said his votes were stolen. And you are stating it that it is not in the casting of the ballot where there is the problem, it is in the management. I will try and paraphrase what you said. It is managing the votes that the secret lies between. So where did they go wrong? Where did the opposition party go wrong in the last general elections?
The lead data analyst is a good friend of mine. I think the next time I'll bring him here, but I don't think I can really tell where they went wrong. But ideally, probably is the voter management. Because when we were arguing at the Supreme Court, there were some of the polling station even that they stated that we lost. They were unable to provide all the forms, or maybe the forms were there, but there were no agent signature. Because if you look at the Form 34A, it always has to have both parties' signature. If you have 5 presidential candidates, all the 5 presidential candidate agents need to sign. So most of them didn't have the signatures. So ideally, I'll say maybe there was a mishap in the votes management. But as said, the next time I'll bring that friend of mine to come and also to answer that question.
So that you can tell us the lessons they learned and how they're preparing themselves, if at all they will be back in the ballot. Now,
I agree.
Kibet, we are seeing times where technological evolution is happening. AI is the new you and I. Everyone is on ChatGPT. Everyone is using other tools to better and ease their life. How will this reshape and affect how data will be collected and used in the coming election?
I'll start by saying, number one, AI has been there. It's only that it has now become the vibe. We call it the vibe or the hype. But the first time AI was introduced into the world was in 1958. And in 2022, we employed a lot of AI techniques, and we came up with a lot of AI models. The first one was the predictive model, as mentioned. So coming up with models that will predict where are we going to win, what percentage are we going to win. If you're not winning, okay, how big is the margin between us and our opponents? So we came up with a lot of predictive models. We also came up with a lot of sentimental analysis model. By sentimental analysis model is we were able to come up with tools that will query social media and get to see what is being said about our candidates. After that, we came up with automated tools that would respond to those sentiments, be it positive or negative. So we would feed data to our backend system so that if there's a response, for example, Kibet ni mbaya. So our bot will respond and say, Mbono unaona Kibet ni mbaya. So real time, it was real time. Because I mean, like for example, Raila Odinga or maybe Kalonzo Musyoka, there are 100,000 tweets each and every day about them. So you cannot let a human being sit down and check everywhere in Twitter to go and see if Raila Odinga or Kalonzo Musyoka has been mentioned, or maybe William Ruto. So by automating those processes, it really helped us in the previous campaign. So even in the upcoming election, the party that will use those automated processes or come up with those automated processes or the models will really help them or ease their work in terms of winning the election.
Right. And I mean, I've been in different rooms where conversations are being had in regards to how much is too much information, number one, to share in AI tools like ChatGPT. You know, people are using these AI tools as the best friends or the therapist you never had, and end up feeding AI tools with a lot of personal information. From your own experience, what is too much to share for a layman, because we need to protect ourselves? So how much is too much information to be putting out so that you're not in harm's way, you're not putting yourself in a place where you're very vulnerable? So much information is being given out, you're not really sure and you cannot trace it back. I think for me the genesis would be, how much is too much information to put out there?
I think for me, anything personal, anything that touches you as a person is too much to share to those generative AIs. I mean, number one, like Open ChatGPT is an open source platform. As much as their database is centralized and controlled by OpenAI, it's an open source platform where even me, I can contribute to the development of that ChatGPT. So I mean, everything that is personal to you, like anything that relates to you, be it your resume, be it your age, be it your name, be it your grandmother's name or grandmother's number, it's too personal to share to that generative AI, any generative AI. So always share things that are a bit basic, but not personal.
All right. Because we've had a conversation previously that you said these tools will also manage and help predict patterns. For example, there's the element of during campaigns, and you've mentioned this in this conversation, that different approaches are used for different demographics. The younger you are will have a different approach for you. When you're older, the language that is being used is different. So the information that is being given out really determines how this can be taken. Now, I will twist the coin a bit, Kibet, and say elections are generally very expensive. And that is why we've seen people spend a lot during the campaigns. And when they lose, life is just never the same again. How much or how far are individuals willing to go just to access data to be able to predict patterns and trends in the wish and or with the belief that they will win an election or a powerful position? How far are they willing to go?
From experience, I've seen politicians go far and beyond to get resources, from getting loans from their friends, getting loans from banks, selling their cars, putting their homes as collateral to get loans in the hope that they will win, for example, the MCA seat or the MP seat. But I always advise them and tell them, in anything that you do in this life, or anything that you do that will make you wake up in the morning, it always need to have an aspect of return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, most of them, they always get or vie in the hope that maybe they will get government tender, then they will make 1 or 2, 30% or 40% profit, and then they will recoup back their money that they invested. But it has never been the case, because if you look at the salary that most of them get vis-a-vis what they invested. For example, like a campaign for an MCA can cost up to 10 million in Nairobi, or even more. A campaign for governor in Nairobi cannot be less than 4 billion. But I mean, if you compute the salary of a governor for 5 years, it will not give you 5 billion. So to answer your question is, these aspirants, they go far and beyond to get resources to be able to vie and campaign in the hope that they will win.
Why do we make elections such an expensive affair? I mean, you're saying it very accurately that even when you look at the numbers as they get into office, what we call the salary, they, no matter what you do, it will not compound back to the amount of money they put in as investment for campaigns. Is it a people's problem that elections are very expensive? Because make it make sense. Why would you spend 10 million? Number one, where are you getting that money from? And I like what we said earlier, that elections should not be an event. It is a continuous process of democracies and people exercising their rights and free will. What do you think makes these elections and campaign periods very expensive? Because it's crazy than the amount of money that is being put out there.
I think it's the voters. The voters are the problem, not the candidates per se. The voters contribute to 70% of that problem. Because ideally, like I saw there was an aspirant who launched a website to raise resources, but he only got 500,000 from the voters. So there's that analogy or that ideology that you need to have money to come and to lead us. There's that perception that if someone has money, be it legally acquired or illegally acquired, then this is our hero. So they make it expensive. And then there's that aspect of tokenization, that okay, you have come, you have given us your manifesto, you have told us what you'll do to us, but unatuacha na nini leo? We need to eat, we need to go and buy ugali maunga, we need to buy mboga, so we need that your 500. So if you compute 500 and you're doing campaigns for 360 days, it will definitely be expensive for you.
So I will take you back to a place where you have no much belief in the process, but the Gen Zs are saying when we move to 2027, it is not about the money that you have, it is not about which community you come from. Again, Dan, it is about your manifesto, it is about what you will deliver to us, it is about how much ideologies you have and what you stand for. How true will this be? Because if we are actually able to achieve that, I think we will have changed Kenya. Number one, as a country, as an African democracy, we will have brought change. Do you believe in the vision that the Gen Zs have, that in the next general election, it will not be about how much money you are spending on your campaigns?
I think if that was true, that particular aspirant that I mentioned that got only 500,000, I think as Gen Zs, if they were honest and true to the cause, they would have contributed much to his cause, because I think his reputation is good. As much as I won't say I support him, I don't support him, but his reputation is okay. I've never had 1 or 2 scandals about him. So if truly the Gen Zs believed in that cause, or his ideology, or his manifesto, or his reputation, then by the time he was launching the website to raise resources, then maybe they would have contributed a lot. There was also another, I won't say an aspirant, but maybe a party leader who also raised serious amount of money, but they were requesting that amount of money from him. But from my own point of view, I think he used that a lot of money, and he was accounting every bit of how he used that amount of money. So I don't think the Gen Zs are serious about what they are saying. It's true when they go to TikTok or X Live, they talk about it, but putting everything they say to action, I've not seen them implementing it.
All right. So what are actionable steps in your point of view that would make markers of change that would tell you, okay, now they're heading in the right direction? What are some of the things that the Gen Zs need to be doing on the ground that will change the patterns, the trends, the predictions of the data that is being collected, that will be markers of change that, all right, these people are very serious with implementing what they stand for virtually or on online platforms?
Ideally, they need to identify a candidate and start preparing that candidate as early as possible. Number two, they need to be part of the process. I mean, there is IBC that was formed recently. I've not seen someone who is a Gen Z in that particular commission. And if you are not part of the table, then you are part of the mill.
The
So
money.
ideally, if they were serious, yeah. So ideally, if they were not, they were serious about it, they will have maybe fronted someone, or maybe even raise issues that they have not been factored in the election process or in the recruitment of the IBC body. So then they need to come up with tools that will be able to recruit maybe volunteers for their particular party, if they have any particular party. Maybe agents come 2022. You know, there are about 46,000 agents. And you know, dealing with agents is also not cheap. An agent will pay him or her maybe 1,000 or 2,000. If you do that, that's about a couple of millions. So they need to come up with strategies of how maybe they will raise money to cater for that agent. Even if not paying them, maybe cater for their meal. Because an agent can stay in a particular station for maybe 2 days. So how will he eat? How will she eat? So they need to be catered for. So a particular structure needs to be formed, be it a party or a structure, whatever name they will call it. It needs to be formed as early as possible, so that they start forming up maybe a secretariat. That secretariat will move forming up tools, coming up with the party leader or the presidential candidates, and such on and such on.
So number one, we should be part of electoral processes. We should be heard right from the onset, and we should have strategic alignment and positioning even as we move towards the general elections. I mean, if we look at our recent history, then it's true to say that elections have been an event. So we are waiting for the last minute for us to try and put our house in order to get a candidate and then to start fronting for them. But I wanted to know, as we wind up our conversation, because it's almost an hour into it, and we want to appreciate everyone who is joining and has joined this conversation. How are the candidates preparing themselves right now? Because I know this electoral the term that the president has had, that's the right word I was looking for. This term has been really tough, and I mean, everyone who is in office right now must be shaken, and therefore I believe there are strategies that they are putting in place. So is it true to say that they're already collecting the data you are talking about, putting strategies in place to align themselves and position themselves for the upcoming elections?
Yeah, for sure, true. But data is always collected on a day-to-day basis. Being an incumbent, you'll always have access to data. Being maybe in the opposition side, I don't think they are collecting data on the opposition side. I've not seen them making inroads or moves to collect data, because maybe maybe on the members, for example, like a party that was formed recently, I've seen they came up with the membership portal. So maybe that's the only data that I've seen them collecting. But ideally, the always important data is always the voter register. So as at now, the window for new registration is still closed. I think it will be opened 8 months to election. So after that, that's when maybe a new register will be formed. Because currently, I think IBC, they're doing cleaning of that register. So, but I don't think the candidates are focusing more on data as it stands right now, but they're focusing more on marketing themselves, like putting their face out there so that they are known. The part of data will come when now there's serious campaign. You know, right now we are not in the campaign. Legally, we are not in the campaign period. It's not even allowed. So I think when the window opens, that's when now we'll put serious tools. Even maybe will be incorporated in place. Start doing that data analytics, maybe AI modeling.
All right. Daniel, we want to appreciate you so much for making time to be here with us. We've unpacked so many things, and I think I want to tell our audiences that we have a very hot podcast that we recorded on Speak Up Africa, and that is what formed our conversation tonight. Daniel Kibet, as you give us your parting shots, what is the future for that data space? What is the future, even as we position ourselves for next phases that are coming for us? What is the future of data with the wars that we have right now, with AI, with technology, and all that is happening around us?
The future of data in election, come 2027, it will be the in thing. Someone who will be able to invest his or her resources, even in the basic AI tools like ChatGPT, maybe Canva for designing posters. It will ease the burden and even reduce the cost in terms of campaigning. So any candidate who will invest in AI tools, it will ease the process or become less strenuous for him to do the campaigns. Because, for example, back then, if you wanted to design a poster, you'll require a graphic designer, a videographer, and all that. Now, with the AI tools, you're able to do it instantly. In 30 minutes, 30 seconds, you have your poster. So, for candidates, kindly invest in AI tools, but AI will not guarantee you a win. There's a lot that come into play. You need to do rallies, you need to put your face out there, you need to come up with agents. Those are the things that now, if you combine AI tools, doing rallies, campaigning, social media targeting, and then the voter management, then you'll be able to win that election.
Daniel, before I let you go, people across different sectors in our country, in African democracies, and globally are living in fear that AI will replace them. AI has come to take over their jobs. And I mean, you've mentioned it rightfully that any candidate who seriously positions themselves in that space will actually be able to achieve more with less. So young people have been waiting for electioneering periods to get handouts, to make some money here and there. Do you think that will cause a change, and a drastic one for that matter? Because then we will not need a lot of watu wa mkono.
Yeah, for sure, it will change. AI is replacing a lot of professions. So for sure, it's a disruptor. It's a disruptor. In an election setup, I don't think 2027 it will do much, but yeah, it will reduce close to 20% of the workforce. But maybe come 2032, then young people need to be very strategic in how they place themselves in any political party or political rallies or election setup.
All right, fantastic. I think we will come to a close of the conversation. Whether the Gen Zs will implement what they're saying or not is a matter that remains mysterious to most of us. But they hope that regardless of the direction things change, we would want a better country that serves both you and me. Daniel Kibet, your parting shots as we close the conversation.
Thank you so much for hosting me. I hope that come 2027 we'll have a very productive election year period, and looking forward to encountering or engaging each and everyone who has joined this show. Thank you.
Are you looking to be in the ballot now that you've worked in the spaces of political scenes, in the back scene, though? Do you think you want to come to the front end and now bring changes that you're talking about?
I don't think so. I don't think so. There are people who are known as kingmakers. They work behind the scenes. So I think I'm okay. I'm okay being in that space.
You're comfortable behind in the shadows.
Yes, I'm comfortable being in the shadows. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
To remain mysterious at all times.
Yes, yes.
Daniel Kibet, thank you so much for making time to be here with us. I want to say a special thank you to our audience that has joined us. It's been a very packed, I guess, a couple of minutes, 45 to an hour, and we will keep having these conversations. Allow me to thank our team that has been able to put this together. We had Hillary, who was doing behind the scene technical upgrades. Hillary, we appreciate you. We also want to thank everyone for their patience and being very kind to us when we were experiencing technological issues. These are things that really do happen to us. With technological evolution, we have challenges that come with it. I appreciate each and every one of you. Nawatakia usiku mwema. My name is Wendy Lois, the official host at Speak Up Africa. I am looking forward to engaging with you in other platforms, in other content that we put out. At Speak Up Africa, we aim to always inform, engage, and empower with our people so that we can make the world a better place, and most importantly, our country more better for us. For now, I will love and leave you. Thank you for joining. Kwaherini.